untold stories, touching the human and personal side of our people in politics, religion, sports, business, music, culture, the media, and more. Getting to know our farmers.
Is it okay if I ask you all to just take me back to Hurricane Maria last year for your own?
No restrictions.
Would that be fine with you? Yes? Okay. That's alright. We cannot get away from the fact that, it is tomorrow.
Every Monday night from 8 p.m.
19 minutes past 8 o'clock. Good evening to you again, wherever you are tonight. This is the In the Spotlight radio show on Q95 FM radio. And we want to welcome each and every one of you from wherever you are located tonight, tuned in and locked into the program. If you're listening on 95.1 FM, welcome. If you're listening via various mediums on the internet, via the internet or the World Wide Web as we know it, we welcome you as well. And if you're viewing live via my Facebook page at this time, you will see the camera on two beautiful ladies, but there's also another lady and another gentleman here, and I'll just spin the camera a little bit until Kadisha gets here. Then she will make sure that you get a good view of everyone who is in the studio with us tonight. I cracked a little joke when I set my post for the In the Spotlight radio show, and I said, unless our maker calls us a little earlier on, we all are going to get old at some point in time, whether we like it or not. And some folks messaged me back and said, funny, Fidana. But it is a fact. And tonight we are very happy to have the folks of the Dominica Council on Aging joining us on the In the Spotlight radio show as we observe the month of the elderly. And I have quite a room filled with people of talent, people of intelligence, people of knowledge, people of experience, beautiful Bell Moon Memki Laophilia. People like I know you would come back with something like that. I know you well, this beautiful lady. I know you well. So we do have them in studios with us tonight, and we are going to say goodnight to everybody present here. And before we get into the entire discussion that we're here for, we cannot get away from the first of you as I introduce you, right after I introduce you, to talk about your Hurricane Maria memory before we get into the gist of why we're here tonight. And Ophelia, I have to begin with you simply because you are the person that I've been in connection with pulling this program together. Yes. And I thank you for your efforts. In fact, it was not even supposed to be this tonight. It was supposed to be something else. Yes. But we couldn't get the something else to work. But then you all are here. So we decided, what you've done, the work you've done, the work you are doing, the work you intend to do, and the importance and the role that persons who are now in the category of elderly, I sometimes say more mature members of our society, the role that you have made and the contribution, the role that you've played and the contribution that you have made to our beautiful country. Ophelia, please introduce yourself to us.
Okay, my name is Ophelia Olivache Marie, the same lady that you know who sings I Dominique. Yes, I was raised in Point Michelle, as people ought to know, for Dinah to for some part of her life.
Indeed.
And I've always been involved. I used to be a brownie, member of the Legion of Mary, Young Citizens of Point Michelle, which is a group that I formed for my daughter, and I was also in the Youth Literary Club and so on, Social League.
Big Brothers and Sisters, you fought for us.
Yes. I remember.
Big Brothers and Sisters,
yes. Mm-hmm. And we used to help with homework and what have you. So it's something that has been part of my life. And I remember when 17 of us went to Martinique, because the people in Martinique asked me to bring 17 senior citizens who can take care of themselves to go over there and celebrate the week of the elderly in Martinique. And when we came back, and that was 15 years ago, by the way, when we came back, the people who traveled said, why don't we stay as a group? So again, Ophelia was in a group. And yes, and we used to have meetings up by NDC, because I used to work there and I asked permission, and they used to be in boardroom and thing, and we have an hour meeting, and then we moved on. And then we got involved in traveling, and we like that. Up to now we do it. And seniors like church, so we would go to church, we'd go to pilgrimage, we'd walk about, we'd visit one another. We have been to many countries, and we do the same thing in those countries, because, you know, seniors, some people think you're seniors, so you have to stay at the back.
That's
and
right.
Purposely put in all the activities that we do right at the front. We have games nights, we walk. What else we do, Shirley, because she's a member of the private senior citizens. We have talks and what have you. And that is the kind of aura or expression we bring to the Council on Aging. The Council on Aging existed a long time before we did. But the Council on Aging, from what I understand, and I hope you let the two bigger people who know more about that talk about that than I do, but this is a group, the Dominica Council on Aging, which is interested in the welfare of senior citizens. It has the core values of care, cooperation, and commitment.
The 3 C's.
The 3 C's. And the motto, the objective of the Council on Aging is to enable seniors, or rather empower seniors, to live life to the fullest. You see, I don't know it by heart.
Empower seniors to live life to the fullest.
Yes. And we advocate a lot for seniors. We also participate in conceptualizing other programs that exist for seniors, particularly with government, and also with other partners who are interested in senior citizens. And we bathe in everything that they like. They like sports, they like bon temps, they like singing and dancing and praising their God, so we do a lot of that. But of course we also have the structure of administration, and when people want a senior group to represent at a conference or something like that, they come to us. So that is what, and then we are interested in the welfare, like the health, the training, the social aspects of the senior persons, and everything we do has to do with what happens to them and how we can create the awareness of what they are. People seem to forget that senior citizens have gone ahead and they have established the foundation of what we have now.
Indeed,
yes.
Indeed.
And one of my best persons in my life was my daddy.
I know that.
Yes, and he went, and I don't have him. It's about a year now that I don't have him. But you know, like when we go to a church, so when he was there, I used to go to church more regularly, I have to say that. And when, for example, yesterday we went for the special service for the sick, shut-in, and the seniors, Daddy wasn't there. And it was the first time that he wasn't there. But there were other people there. So I found myself with another family, if you like. Vibrant senior citizens were there, 18 of them. People from Granby were there, people from Point Michel were there, people from AFSCOD were there. So, you know, and I'm sure there were others that I didn't recognize. But it's a family, and we have to make our seniors feel that that family is there for them.
Indeed. Before I move on to the others, supernumerary.
Yes.
That is your role within the organization. What the heck is that, Ophelia?
Well, for me, it's a big word that says I'm another member.
Is that so?
Yes. But what it does is that I can be a member of the board. They expect a certain level of advice from me, and I can be a mediator in case there are two things that don't fall, and I seem to have a knack to try to help them to stick together.
Okay.
So we have more instead of less. And well, they know why they ask Ophelia. Because I think I have worked and I represent something. And I'm probably moving towards being the president of Dominica, so all of this is practice.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm gonna quit my job and come work for you when you become the president of Dominica.
I believe you.
All right, let's move to this beautiful lady named Lorana, and she's going to introduce herself and tell us about her role within the organization.
My name is Lorana John Baptiste. I was born at Marigot, but I'm in town for quite a while now. That I don't even know the Kokoi. So you must know.
So wait. So you can't even say good night to your Kokoi people?
Yes.
I'm late. Sometimes I get puzzled in saying these things. I get puzzled. I come around my sisters in the country and I hear them speaking, you know, I might pick it up at the time.
Okay.
But otherwise, I'm not too hot on that.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
And within the organization?
I'm working with the council since 1998. I'm with the Dominica Council on Aging.
But you couldn't have been a senior then. I mean, you look so young and spring chicken age. 1998.
I look so young, yes, but I have the age.
Oh.
Certainly have the age.
Nice skin people, you know. Hey.
Persons shouldn't think that all elderly persons or persons should stay at the back, and they shouldn't think that they shouldn't look good. We have to look good. Because we are as young as we look too. And you know, yes. But the thing is, most times you want to impart knowledge to the younger ones, and you have to be able to speak their language. So you have to be young too.
I understand. And there is another lady over there who, yes, Ophelia.
You know that Lorana has worked for the Council on Aging as the executive officer, and so she is the one who was the one, because now we have a new one, but she has worked almost all her life with that. She went to other places to work, but there she was the one who used to pull all the items together, remind you, Ophelia, you have to call for dinner, or Nigel, you have to make sure we have all the information for the board meeting or whatever it is. She is the one. So watch her in all her humility, but know that she has put in a lot of work.
Awesome. And this other lady here, her name is Shirley. Shirley, oh my goodness, you're hiding behind the mic. So we cannot capture you too much, and we have to move the camera a little bit and see how I can get to capture you. Let me just move it a little bit more by me, and let me see if I can probably capture you a little better. Right here. Yes, Shirley, let's go. Shirley, tell us about Shirley.
I am, at present, Shirley Dorset.
Shirley Lee.
Lee Dorset, ex-Dorset.
Okay.
Okay, but so many people know me. So many people know me as Dorset, so I still have the name Dorset.
So you're Shirley married Lee.
Yes, no, Shirley
Married Dorset.
Married Dorset. But my maiden name was Lee.
I see.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm Shirley Lee Dorset.
As you said, ex-Dorset, I wasn't sure what that meant.
Oh, okay, no more Dorset, but because for so many years I have been called Dorset, and so many people call me by my name. I just need to answer when they say Mrs. Dorset.
I see. I understand clearly.
Okay, I got involved with the Council on Aging. I worked with Lorana John Baptiste at Eros and Company.
Okay.
And even after she left, we still stuck on. I left and went to work at Liat, but we still remained friends. So a couple of times I visited her at her office, and then somehow it was Wesley High School's 80th anniversary. And then I needed somebody to go with because my husband wasn't able to come with me. So I told her, and then she rushed by her sisters close by, and she took her sister's dress and we had the dinner together. Because she wasn't prepared for it, I just took her and told her, come with me.
The things we do for friends.
Yes. And since then, she's such a good lady. She introduced me to the Council on Aging and their works and so. And then I was also retired. So I felt, okay, I
But now some of all you retired and all of that, you're looking so young.
So after doing my housework in the mornings and taking care of everybody else, I had the afternoon to myself. So I said, why not get involved in doing something for the elderly and for myself also, since I was in that category.
Okay.
And so I became a member of the Council on Aging. Eventually I sat on the board for a couple of years, and then I said, well, let some other people, give them an opportunity to serve, but I'm still a member.
Okay.
And I find, well, you start off with being a baby, then you move to primary school, preschool, primary school, high school, college, and university maybe. Then you get a job that you like, but after the job everybody becomes ageable and they have no choice but to join the Council on Aging.
That's correct.
Where we have so much fun.
I can tell already.
Yes, okay.
I am having fun with you already.
We have achieved the golden years because you know when you reach senior age, you are, it's considered a golden
years.
achievement.
I see.
Yes, so this is a time when we celebrate. In the Council on Aging, we do things for the elderly. We dance, we party, we celebrate birthdays with them, we go visit them, knowing that loneliness can one of the biggest disadvantages of the elderly. So we go visit the elderly people. We have about 25 or 30 something people, centenarians. So they're so happy to have us when we come to visit them. Christmas time, we give them a gift. We talk to them, they don't want us to go. And so it's a real joy being a part of the Council on Aging, and I'm really telling you, I'm happy to be a part of it. It also is the umbrella organizations for a lot of different groups all over the island, villages. We have different groups, but the Council on Aging is there so that anything you want for the elderly, you go to them, and they choose which village most needs whatever. So we don't only stick to the elderly 60 plus. We also are happy to have people from 18 years join, because what happens at that age, you know, the body has been overworked, so sometimes you want to take a fall, or you have the non-communicable diseases or something. So we need the young people to help us. Like if I'm falling down, I need a young person so we welcome
to support you.
Yeah, so we welcome people like you to come in and join
I knew that was coming.
We like your bubbly attitude.
Oh
I
my goodness.
All the time, and
oh, you
bubbly thing is in you all the time. I say, but does she get tired? She's always so, you know. So it would be nice to have you with us. For Diana. Yes.
We'll talk about all of that as we go along.
Okay.
I want to say hello to the only man, the only thorn among the roses. Yes, Mr. Lawrence. How does it feel to be among these ladies here tonight?
I'm the rose among the thorns.
Oh, you're actually the rose among the thorns. All right, I'll take that.
But I'm happy to be here. There's no problem being a minority. I've got a problem with that. But I'm happy to be here, and I'm thankful to you.
You're
That's
welcome.
my second time on your show. About a few years ago, we were on your show, myself and my former president, Mrs. Toussaint.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were on your show.
Oh my, I've been doing this show for about 5 years now, so you know, I keep track of what I've had on, but you know, sometimes you don't always remember.
According to a fella, a pity.
Un petit, the French would say un petit peu.
My name is Nigel Lawrence. I'm the second vice president of the Dominica Council on Aging. Just like Mrs. Dorset said, I was introduced to the council by Mrs. John Baptist, And just like Ophelia, I began as a supernumerary as well.
Okay.
So it's been 15 years, and it's been 15 wonderful years working with older persons. I have a knack for older persons. I have a bias towards older persons, and a lot of people don't like the word old. So I use the word, and I don't like the word elderly, because under the UN Convention, elder and elderly has different connotations, different meanings in different languages and in different cultures. So therefore, I use the internationally accepted word that most people don't
Senior
want to.
citizen.
No, the word is older person.
Older persons.
Yeah,
So Mote right then at the older persons.
Right.
Yeah,
So I actually planned when we actually got into the conversation, and we will in just a while, to ask you what is the correct term for is it senior citizens, is it older persons, is it more mature members of society, what is it? But we'll talk about that when we get to discuss the what we're here to discuss tonight. But we cannot get away, as I mentioned earlier on, from what we experienced last year. In the next few hours, we will be going across to September 18. And many of us do not want to go back to September 18 of 2017. And I get depressed when I think about it. I get really depressed when I think about what we went through last year. And I was in two minds. Do I make tonight's program about Hurricane Maria, or do I do something else? And we decided to do something else because we were actually planning on something, but we cannot get away from it. And I'm going to ask each of you for a moment to just share with us what you recall about September 18th last year. And when we come back, when we're done talking about that, we'll come back and talk about, is it senior citizens, is it elder, is it older, is it mature, whatever it is. But let's talk a bit about September 18, 2017. Where were you, Shirley, last year when Hurricane Maria approached? Yes.
Well, I was at home. I was sitting in the den, and then we had I also belong to the Russo Cultural Group. So we had an activity coming in October, and we had to sell tickets for that. And I was there just checking out how many tickets had sold, how much money I still have to collect, how much, And then my telephone rang, and then my son, who is in England, he said, "Mommy, are you ready?" So I said, "Ready for what?" He said, "Mommy, aren't you listening to your radio? We're going to have a hurricane." I said, every time they just tell people about hurricane and they just bother and nothing comes out of it, so I just can't be bothered. He said, "No, Mommy, look who there is a category 5 and it did. Get up and do something. Who is there with you?" I said, "Nobody." And then
you were home alone.
Yes, and he made it sound so frightening.
But he was right.
Yeah, he was right. So I got up and I'm so bad today, I don't know what to do. And that is the truth. I'm speaking the truth. And then I said, "But what can I do?" And all my windows are open and the doors are open, and I'm saying, anyway, all I managed to do was I pushed the television further in the corner, and then I said, "What else? I have a glass table. I don't know where I got the strength to sort of bend it and put it on some cushions that I had." And then I just called my neighbor. I told him, and that was about maybe 6 p.m. And I just called my neighbor and I told them, "I'm coming over to you." So he said, "Okay, come over." And I didn't close anyway, and I just went over. I was so lost, and then I stayed there the night. We went through it, and of course, we kept hearing noises, this one banging and that one banging, and I said, "Boy, that's a glass door," because I have a couple of glass doors in the house. Then, when we heard another boom, he said he loves his Jeep so much. He said, that's my Jeep. A certain time he was trying to look out, and then his wife said, "No, Bunny, don't look out, there's something." But he's so concerned about his Jeep, he thought maybe it was a blow, and we kept hearing. Anyway, we peeped through, it was pure pitch dark, so we didn't really see anything. But all water just came down, and we just went through it like that, frightened all the time, getting this one, holding that one, you're going under the table. And so after a while, at a certain time, it subsided. It was about 10:30 or thereabout, and we thought, well, everything was over. And so we started sweeping. Then after a while, it started over again, and then we went into the room, into one of the rooms. They told me if I wanted to rest because I'm diabetic, and maybe thought. So I said, okay, I'll just stay there with you. Then the wife came, the man was outside, and then eventually we went up. But I kept worrying about my dogs. I have 2 dogs. But luckily I managed to lock out one of them in a little bathroom that we had. The other one is a little flighty little one. So I said maybe it will find its way. I couldn't catch it or anything. And in the morning,
what happened to them?
They survived. The big one, well, the bathroom door couldn't open, but my neighbor came and he took a cutlass and put it, pulled it out. And the little one, it was the one that greeted me right through the gate. In the gate, it was right at the gate there. Maybe it went under the cellar to hide. And that is where we can. When we went in, all plants or the house was a perfect mess. But it left us with fright and everything. So everybody came and swept water, and all the neighbors watching each other, so this. And that's how it went.
Did you, what about your roof? I know.
Yes, of course.
Sai has a calypso, 80% of Dominicans roofless, so I presume, did you fall in that 80%?
Oh yes, my roof went, and you wouldn't believe it's only last 2 weeks that I got it repaired.
Wow.
It's a long story behind this one. But anyway, at last it's repaired. It was really bad throughout the year, almost a year, when I still had to go through the rain and the wind, and my neighbors, every time they heard the wind and they felt for me, they said, "Shirley, come over." But I said, well, I have to stay with my dogs, I can't come. So a certain part I would just go in the den on the couch. I wasn't getting wet, but then the other parts that were getting wet, the water would just flow all over the house. So the worst part of it, and if you notice, if you knew me before, I lost maybe 10 pounds just swiping water every morning, swiping water, swiping. Yes, I think
it was a daily routine.
Yeah, daily routine. So swiping water, and that's how it is. So when this one came, I was really fearful. This time I didn't take it for a joke. I think I was prepared.
You made the necessary preparations.
Nothing happened.
What about you, Lorana? What do you take us back to last year?
Well, to tell you the truth, I think this has to go down in the history books, because the younger people have to know about the hurricane. Okay, that evening, I sat when there were times when you would hear the big screech, like these big noises, and I would start to Robbie, my son, would ask, "Mommy, what happened to you?" I said, "You're not hearing." I said, "You're not hearing the wind." And then I stayed there with the water's running through the house. And I stayed there, and when I looked up, I could hear the wind have the galvanized until everything just went. The whole roof just went. So,
your entire roof went?
Yeah.
So what did you all do?
Happened, the rafters stayed, but all the galvanized went. So we had a lot of water inside. So some of the ceiling, just a little bit remained, but then the others naturally fell down. Although they were not, cardboard, but they still went up. But that's how it was.
Where were you? In what part of the house did you?
It happened, it was good enough that I had this little apartment at the back, where I added a 15 by 28 wall, so that is where I stayed.
Is it a concrete structure?
Yes, a concrete structure. The drawing room and 1 bedroom, so we had to move into that part. But the other part was extended to where a tenant lived. And that's where they had the brunt of it, because the whole thing of this went.
So you were secure?
Yes, I was secure, yes.
But how were you feeling when you heard that wind?
I was so frightened.
Rustling outside.
I went through Hurricane David, but this was nothing to compare with Hurricane David. Nothing.
Hurricane David was nothing to compare with it.
That one as a lady, one as a gentleman. Very monster. Very monster.
And so how has the year post the hurricane been like for you?
Yes, well, after the hurricane passed, well, we all had to be able now to share with each other. And we had to live as good friends, good neighbors.
Yes,
At
yes.
least we were supposed to be doing that all the time, but that time was a special time.
I love to cook. I became the official cook for quite a few people for a couple of weeks after the hurricane. Indeed, yes.
Well, I was lucky enough. I was able to include the insurance benefits. Whether it was enough or not, but you had to make it do.
You make it
something.
work.
Yes.
You make it work.
So that at least we got covered about 2 months now.
Okay, so you're safe and secure now.
Yeah.
Ophelia,
Yes.
take me back to Hurricane Maria.
You know, every time I talk about that, I realize that I leave out a lot of things, but it must be deliberate because everybody has a story.
Everybody has a story.
Yeah, and I'm a good listener, so I rather let them talk. But anyway, I remember we decided we set up in the house, put passports and all kinds of things in bags, which was a mistake, by the way. We should have put them in plastic first. Now I know that. But we set up things and we put a large mattress in the drawing room because it was 2 families, Mark and myself, and there's Roland, who is our assistant manager at Shea Ophelia, with his family. So we were 2 families. And we decided, okay, we put 2 mattresses and we'd relax. But before that, I had asked Mark to go down at 7-Eleven and see if they had extra biscuits and things like that. Just in case, you know, so we had things to munch, some biscuits, some cheese, some juice. And we made sure we had a pail if we didn't want to go in the bathroom. Because we learned that from David. All of a sudden, we just felt like 2 bits of galvanized just came out and 1 set of water just came onto that same mattress where we were. So Mark said, studio time. That was his plan B, you know, but we wanted to stay in there. So all of us marched. We covered our heads with towels and whatever, and we marched to the studio, close it up with, of course, with our biscuit and cheese.
Did you have to pass through the open?
Yes, we had to pass through the open.
In the
but
wind
it wasn't
and all of...
yet,
Okay.
But it wasn't yet serious because we live in a kind of cove.
Okay.
And the wind goes above that cove down to Roseau, that
Okay.
kind of general area.
Okay.
So we were still okay, but the noise was still there, and the trees were dancing in that wind. But anyway, we went in, and I'm seeing everybody scared. There were 2 teenagers, 1 little girl, a lady, myself, Mark, and Roland. And we are inside there, and we're saying, I'm telling them, I realize I'm the big one there, so I'm saying, it will be all right. Everything will be all right. I'm not feeling it, but I have to say it, and I have to make a prayer out of it. I had a rosary. I rolled rosary, and I said all the kinds of rosaries I knew. Just to hold on, you know, to something, and to have that face that the kids could identify with. And there was the time when, like Shirley thought it had ended, when there was a calm. The 2 men went out, Mark and Roland. And when they came back, they said that a tree had gone into one of our apartments, the one called I Love You, and that our grapefruit tree had fallen down and all the grapefruit was on the ground. I said, no problem, we'll make grapefruit juice. You know, I'm trying to keep the lightness, although as I said, I'm not feeling it. The little girl fell asleep, I remember, and the rest of us were there. We're just hearing that noise outside. But the studio held up very well because it's totally concrete. We have louvers. Our ears started feeling funny, full of pressure, so we had to open 2 of the louvers to allow the pressure to neutralize. And then the rain, and you could hear the different direction, and the rain and the wind. And I'm sure I heard voices. I am sure you know, there was an anger in the voices. And
Oh, that wind was talking.
yeah, that was something else. I mean, I started thinking about all Sukunya they used to tell me about when I was a little girl and what have you. But you know, you have to keep that positiveness, keep the prayers going. We made our prayers while we were going with the rosary, and you know, and that kind of kept us intact. And then when we woke at 6 in the morning to go outside, yes, a lot of water had gone through the drain in our yard and come up. Not just laughing, you know. And then coconuts, I'm seeing dry coconuts on the road, and my neighbor Gemma Lawrence and her husband came out. Hi, Ophelia, and them saying hi. And Milton had a cup, I think. I don't know if it's tea or coffee he had in it. And I'm looking at the grapefruit tree, and it is right back up. Yeah, that's my miracle tree.
Really?
And the grapefruits came back 5 days. The flowers came back 5 days after, and the leaves started coming back out. I have grapefruit now. They have the sides, but I can make a grapefruit juice.
That is correct.
You know, and then they told me not to go up in the apartments. I suppose they felt I would cry because I can cry easy. That's why I sing I Dominic. And those people that calling I Dominic the cry song, be about yourself. Eh? Because, you know, and I have to kind of defend I Dominic, but there are times when the only song that's appropriate is I Dominic, you know. And people looked at me afterwards and sing for me, I Dominic, because of Maria. I can't be vexed about that. And then there was this, well, my kids couldn't get to me because Flo didn't help and the other one didn't help. But somebody sent to say that Mac and I had died.
I heard that, Ophelia.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Now that you're saying that.
Yes.
Now that you're saying that, I heard that.
Yes, we were on the list.
I heard that.
Yeah.
My goodness. Yes.
Yes. So
now
when
that
I
you're
went,
saying that, it's coming back to me that I did hear that.
Yes, and when I went to DBS, because Cecile called me, I'm sorry, I had to talk to some French people who wanted to link up with me from there. There's a lady who saw me and she drew in her breath. I thought I was seeing a ghost.
Oh my.
You know, and I said, no, I'm there. It's me, I'm alright. You know, they're not ready for me. Be able to say.
But where did that come from?
I don't know. And there is another Ophelia Marie. She lives in Greens Lane. That's where she's from. So some people were saying, well, it's her name that's on the thing. But well, people know me a little more than they know her.
Yes, yes.
And that caused a different kind of pain.
Yes, indeed.
But, you know, and I don't know why people would do this wickedly, if that's what they did. I find, though, the hurricane gave us an opportunity to be community, as Shirley indicated, because the people around, we got, Coptol was one of the earliest organized community groups, community assistant group or whatever we call ourselves. And we knew where to go to get the ration early, and our people stood in line and received their amounts of ration and went back home. I ate more flour than I did before. But, you know, we were very grateful that we had a nice mix. We got chicken once, and we got some caught fish another time, you know, and we became creative. And we ate one meal a day, and we were fine.
Yes.
You know, so we learned a lot of things from, I prefer the love and the warmth. I take time to say hi to people since when I've always been that way, but I just turn it up a notch because you never know when is the last time you're seeing someone.
That is
And
correct.
as Ophelia is saying that, I forgot I must thank my neighbors openly for having my roof covered. My neighbors, if it wasn't for them,
Oh,
Yeah.
Ophelia,
But
give her a
that's okay.
hug.
That's okay.
Yes, give her a hug and a rub.
Yeah.
Well, thank God for your neighbors, my darling.
Yes.
Neighbors, she's really grateful for the support that they were there the night of the hurricane, and apparently they're there still, you know, a year later. Ophelia, a year later, though, for you
Yes.
personally, I know we're here to talk about the elderly, and we're going to do that in a while,
No, but
I
we
think
are
this is
elderly
good.
and we've had to deal.
That is correct. That is
And
correct.
we are resilient. You know, so I think young people should take a page from our book, because Shirley is even older than me, although she's looking 10 years younger. But she had to stand and make sure that her work was taken care of, you know. And well, I'm fortunate in that I have Mark with me,
Yes.
and I was able to work it out. But Ophelia suffered. We still not open officially, but we do have some apartments where we receive people,
Okay.
and we're still working on the last house. But I think for the World Creole Music Festival,
You should be okay.
Yes, and I also have a part in my roof that I still have to fix.
Okay.
Because one of those days it rained. In fact, when Isaac was coming, it rained and I got 2 holes. Yeah, I even wanted to put a little plant under one of them so it can get, you know. So, you know, and I think the effects of Maria will be with us for a while.
Yes.
And I'm not only talking about the fact that a lot of people still do not have roofs.
Yep.
And some people are still under tarpaulin. A tarpaulin is supposed to last 6 weeks. And there are people who have 2 and 3 tarpaulins over their heads to try to stay, at least to have a little space where they can lie down and sleep. So there is still some of that too. But I'm talking about the anger I see among some people and the anxiety. I know my kids wanted me to get out after the hurricane so that I could free my mind and have a holiday, but I didn't think I could leave.
You didn't leave at all?
Well, yes, I left after I took care with Mark, because he is the leader in this aspect of things. But I couldn't just leave him alone and say I'm going to the States.
Sure.
Like I don't have anything to do or whatever.
Say, ma, we want you.
Yes, and he needs support too.
Of
you know, I
course.
sometimes feel that the men don't need support, but the men need support too. And I am his girl, so. So, you know, and I have to remind him sometimes, did you check the bank? Did you check? Because, you know, the insurance, well, we had insurance, but like everybody else, we suffered. We got a cut from what we thought we would get. So we had to face the bank and try and work things. And then workers are not as available as we think that they are. So we had to sometimes beg, you know, aren't you really coming? For electricity, we had a problem. And then our phones were taking time to fix. But you know, we worked all of that out. And I'm telling you, I went to the States, I went to a show, to do a show. My daughter was driving me and it started raining. Oh my goodness. I lived Maria again. I was far from Maria territory, but I couldn't take the rain. Terry even wrote a poem about it.
Oh my.
Yes, so it affects
the
you.
lingering effects
Yes,
of Maria.
yes.
I think it's going to take forever before you
because,
know.
You know, and
It
we
goes
are,
away.
we are
Oh,
in it.
Shirley, you alright?
Yes.
Oh.
But you know, the good thing is we have the higher power. Some people don't like us to talk about God and what have you. It isn't that
Well, they're wrong.
we just let Him do everything. We just sit down and say, oh God, oh God. But we have to recognize that when we have Him, we have something to plug into. We have somebody that can make us say, okay, I'm there with you. Let's move on to the next step. So, and then you are promised, if you have a mustard seed of faith, you can move. So when we say we are alive, we say thank God we are alive. It's true we have bobo, we have things to fix and what have you. Some people have lost their jobs. Some seniors cannot eat the 3 meals that they used to eat. They have to eat 1. But we have hope. We have to have hope. We have to grab onto the hope and move with what we have.
Well, the insurance
Thank
should
you.
come up, but they didn't come up. Insurance did not come up and cover me at all. But anyway, it's gone.
But your roof is
I
back
did.
up, hey my darling?
Yes.
Your roof is back up.
Yeah.
Mr. Lawrence. Yes.
Well, my
Mr. Lawrence, you're smiling at all the ladies.
Nigel. I hope he gives you his story.
Wait. Saka boy in his days now?
growing up,
That smile.
growing up, they used to call me Al Green because I was a smile. They used to say Al Green, so I am Green. Like
I
Al
see.
Green. Well, honestly, one of the good things with Maria was that
A good thing with
Yeah,
Maria.
because after Maria, everybody you spoke to, you had to start to either do one or two things. Either you started to cry or you started to laugh.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at it that way. Most people you met, when they started telling you what they went through, you either cried or you just laughed because the stories were so much out of place. So it was very strange. And sitting down here tonight, hearing the things, it's just the same. It's just the same thing. One of my wife is I call her Hurricane David baby. In that I'm saying she experienced Hurricane David as a young girl, right? And then she was the one pushing me and telling me, get ready. Like from 4 o'clock, she had me picked up. Now where we live, we normally have hurricane force winds of category 1 and 2.
On any given day.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're used to that. And so she was the one, she told me, okay, she had everything, passports, wedding papers, land papers, always in a plastic, everything was well fixed up. And then she told me, I am not going to sleep on no bed with hurricane water on it. So we live upstairs, but we have an apartment downstairs. So I told her, so what do you want me to do? She wants to pick up a queen size bed, and the queen size bed is about 18 inches thick. Alright? And I tell her, sweetheart, what do you want me to do with that?
Bring it downstairs.
She said, take it out. It's not saying you have to get wet. I told her, what do you want me to bring in? So she said, bring it. I told her, but okay, let's carry it with me. When we lift it up, I know she can't lift up, it's too heavy. She can help me. We have a son who was 12, 13. I mean, the two of them can't help me. So she says, I don't care what you say, it has to go down. Down where? Downstairs.
In the apartment downstairs.
So I said, but we have beds downstairs. We have 3 beds downstairs. She said it's going down. So I reluctantly had to pick it up, throw it over the veranda, drag it further over the veranda, tell the two of them, stay down there, don't let it roll into somewhere else. And then we happened to put it inside. That was one of my big things. And then the weather started getting worse. And I think I must have lost my roof from 9 o'clock in the night. Mm-hmm. And well, as a man, you have to play the role of a man.
Yes.
I don't think I was ever scared, but I had to be responsible. Mm-hmm. And I remembered at some point things started getting tough, and I remember my son and I, we were there watching outside through a large glass window, and we saw I had a 1,500-gallon tank of water, and I just passed like a joke, like a guy throwing a cricket ball. It just went like, and then my son said, Daddy, did you see that? I said, yes. And then after that, things started getting serious, and it got to a point where my wife, I saw tears. When I looked at her, I saw tears coming from my eyes. She told me, I told her what happened. She says, the roof is gone. I had heard the bang, and it was somebody's 2x6 that hit a door in our apartment, and we had hurricane shutters all around. So when it hit there, it got inside, and it couldn't get anywhere else but to lift the entire roof and brought it down to the Eulibla Highway. We live higher up Friday Bay in Cuba Road, way up past Friday Bay. It lifted the entire roof, airborne, and cleared all the houses below. It cleared all the houses below, and it went and it dropped. I'm 2 feet over a fella's roof, and then it was 2 feet away from his vehicle. Wow. So when we didn't know what happened in the night, so when my wife told me, I I started crying. I tried to tell her, no, the roof is there. But then you could see evidence that the water was no longer pitching out. The water was just running alongside.
Yeah.
And we were there downstairs, and I had to, the type of windows we have, there's water has to go into a slot and go out. But the wind was pushing leaves and through that slot instead, and the water was coming in about 18 inches high. And I have to be there with a toothpick, an ice pick, and with knives trying to control the water, push the water down. My wife was crying, shouting, leave the window, leave the window. And I was telling her, if I don't do that, we're going to be swamped inside with water. But by that time, if you see, just through these slits, we had about 6 inches of mud in the house. And it created just through this.
Wow.
And so while this was happening, so by 10 o'clock, according to her, by 10:30, my wife came and she said, I think the eye is on. Now that time, anything my wife say, I have to say yes. I have to obey and I have to say yes. So she said the eye is on now. I said yes. So she says, well, go outside and see what happened. I went out. Okay, I looked in the dark, you can't see anything. So I went around the house and I went through the kitchen door and I saw the kitchen door wide open. When I looked at the kitchen door, I looked up, I saw nothing there.
It's all exposed.
Everything is gone.
Gone.
That was gone, and that was in the night. So I said, oh my. So I went and I looked and I saw chairs. We had a big flat TV, 40-something inch. That gone, everything just went up. So I said, okay. So I said, here we are alive.
Yeah.
That was the good thing, the consolation that there was God and God. And I prayed all along and I was saying that I hope that's for our sins. We'll take this, Lord, as penance. We'll have to do the penance. We're taking it. That's not a loss. This is a message. So we went back. I went back downstairs and I told him, let's come upstairs and see. So when they came upstairs, she saw what happened.
She started to cry?
It was dark. We couldn't see. We were just at a flashlight trying to see where we were. So we were not worried about it. But the good thing is that we were safe, right? And then we felt if we were like that, we were thinking of how many other people would have been. And our house was only about 7 years old, so it's not an old house to say. So anyway, we said all right. And then whilst we were there, lingering, we heard, and I told her, you hear that?
It's not done yet.
We tell us that is the eye has just left, and that is the other part of it coming. And we run downstairs. By the time we ran downstairs, I realized I had an umbrella in my car under my seat, and I'm finding the umbrella about 20 feet away. All right? And when I looked, you could actually see the car imploded, and it just, the front windscreen went about 20 feet away forward, and the back windscreen went about 10 feet away. All right? And these were the only parts of the car that was damaged. All right? And then we got back inside, and then we rode the storm. I rode the storm, stayed up. I was the Dominica Pala Chuke in the hole for the whole safe in downstairs. Because downstairs we were okay except the water coming in. And I felt she should have been there, but she said no. She took our son into the bathroom, put some pillows and things, so I put him there, and he fell asleep. Then he started crying after a while. And then I stayed up. I never slept from that day until the next day. The day after, I didn't sleep for 48 hours. And then the next day, we were just looking at a bare landscape, and there's nothing to talk about. And then people came, and then people started telling us where our roof was. And we were happy that it didn't affect anybody else. And that was the good thing. But one of the funny things, the guy whose our roof just touched where it landed, the guy gave me a joke. He told me, let me tell you something. So Lawrence, when my wife told me she heard the bang, she said she went up and she saw a roof. Now his roof was the same color as my roof. And he said the roof is, he said, look, my roof. Our roof is gone. Look it right in front of us. So the guy said, he's touching, says, but how come?
I'm dry.
I'm dry. He said, yes, it's gone. So the next thing, she said, I'm gonna look again. And he said, well, she went and she looked. The man said he never felt so weak he said his knees just gave way and he fell. He couldn't go outside and see. He just went back to his bed until next morning. And then he went out and he saw it was not his roof and it was my roof. But that's life. But I'm happy we made it fun. I'm very happy for the persons
Are you re-roofed?
Yes, I had to move. We had to concretize
Okay.
because we recognize this is just it's a nice area. You have a good view, but there are the vulnerabilities. So we do that. We are re-roofed, but we're still downstairs. We're not complete. If it rains now, we don't get wet.
Okay.
But we're still downstairs.
Okay.
But it's work in progress.
Oh, wow, so many stories of Hurricane Maria, and I know if we were to just open up the lines there, the stories would come flooding in terms of persons' experiences from Hurricane Maria last year. I have my own experience. I mean, you're talking about a baby and her mother moving from an apartment that was sort of a basement that was close to the river, moving from there during the hurricane into a bus. And you're talking about the pressure bursting the bus, and you're talking about glass pieces in people's backs and in people's bodies, and you're talking about having to force open a door to get that 19-year-old mother and her baby inside my apartment, while her father and while the girl's father and the older gentleman had to stay in the bus, and we had to determine whether or not we should open that door to allow them in as well. It was crazy, I tell you. I think about this day and I just get depressed, I just think, I just possibly cannot go through the after effects of Hurricane Maria. So after you wake up and you look outside and the trees are bare, and almost every turn that you make, there's a roofless house somewhere. Food, water. I mean, I cannot do it again. I think about it and I'm ready to break down. I cannot go through something like that again. And I know there's several people who are saying the exact same thing, that they would not want to have to go through this again. And it's a year later. And I think mentally we're still not okay. We're not okay. We're not okay. How many of us got counseling? The pastors were talking about that earlier on, How many of us, look, you just broke down just a while ago, Shirley, just thinking about your neighbors and the support they gave you. And that's how sensitive and fragile people are, since Hurricane Maria. And that is why once we hear of something else, we're better prepared now, I think. We make Shirley, you learned, I think we make better preparation now. But I think mentally, anytime we think about this day or anytime something is approaching, then we get fragile and we get depressed and we get worried and
nervous,
very, very nervous. We're gonna take a break.
I think there's some children who anytime they see the rain, they start to cry.
Yes. Yes. It's terrible.
There are people, once they have tarpaulin, ruffling in
yes.
They get frightened.
Yes.
Yeah.
They get
But
frightened.
people have passed because from like stress.
What's that?
A lot of people have passed because
After the hurricane, we heard of quite a few elderly persons, passed after the hurricane, All right, folks. So we just had to kind of, talk. Yes, about that a little bit. And as you said, you're elderly folks and you experienced Hurricane Maria, so we could spend some time talking about that as well. But we're going to take a break now. And I say, Ophelia, you look a little sad. Just thinking about it. I'm sorry I had to make you all go back down memory lane. So we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going back on topic of the Dominica Council on Aging, the month of the elderly, and we're going to talk some more about what exactly it is. How do we say it? Senior citizens, whatever the case is. We thank you, all those of you who are tuned into the program, and we thank those of you who are viewing live as well via Facebook. It is our pleasure to have you here with us.
In the Spotlight on Q95 FM Radio every Monday night from 8 p.m. in the spotlight,
Because
featuring people
it's
from all walks of
to
Dominica
get
life,
off and
spotlighting
organize
their triumphs and
and
tragedies,
receive gifts
dreams,
and share
hopes, and
the same
aspirations.
we have this
On
operation
touching the human and
And somebody has to move the camera, we try to do both
in
of them.
politics, religion, sports, business, music,
Because they are
culture,
showing
the media,
you want it
and
to
more.
or you don't
Getting
think
to
so.
know our families, public servants, youth, the ordinary Dominicans.
That's Khadija.
Listen to their stories.
That's her name.
No
Khadija.
limitations,
What's her name?
no restrictions, no more fraud. In the
Say
spotlight,
it,
also
yes.
spotlight interesting topics, issues, and relevant situations. Don't miss In the Spotlight on Q95 FM radio every Monday night from 8 p.m. In the Spotlight on Q95 FM radio every Monday night from 8 p.m. In the Spotlight, featuring people from all walks of Dominica life, spotlighting the triumphs and tragedies, dreams, hopes, aspirations, untold stories, touching the human and personal side of all people in politics, religion, sports, business, music, culture, the media, and more.
Actually, for says we're doing well.
Public servants, youth, and ordinary Dominica.
Because I told her I wish she could have come. She said, true, but I'm enjoying listening to you all. You all are doing well. Good job. Give my regards to all on panel.
Issues and relevant situations. Don't miss In the Spotlight on Q95 FM radio every Monday night from 8 p.m. In the Spotlight.
And we are back at 20 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. This is the In the Spotlight radio show, and we have with us in studios, in case you're just tuning in and you're wondering, from the Dominica Council on Aging, Ophelia Marie, our beautiful lady of song, Mr. Nigel Lawrence, he says he's the rose among the thorns. Shirley Lee Dorset and Lorana John Baptist. She's actually former executive officer as well of the Dominica Council on Aging. And it's a pleasure to have these beautiful people here with us in studios tonight as we continue to get back to the conversation of the Dominica Council on Aging and why they are here tonight to talk about Council on Aging. Let's talk again about this organization and its role here in Dominica. Who's going to take this? Nigel.
The Dominica Council on Aging is a non-profit, not-for-profit organization that was established in 1993. And that's why we are celebrating our 25th anniversary as a 25th anniversary. It's a don't worry if my word older, I use the word older. Ophelia, you will use the word elderly.
Whatever makes you comfortable.
Yeah. But we are here to see that we empower older persons, because we recognize that older persons play a part in society. Now, according to the UN Charter, older persons are persons who are 60 years and over.
60 years and over.
60 years and over, international.
Tout le monde a 60 years and over?
Yes, more than that.
And more too.
What?
and so there is the United Nations principles on older persons. We are here to promote this. That's one of the principles we work by, and that has to show people that there is value in older persons, that they play a role. Now, in as much as we have played our role as older persons, we still have a role to play, and that's where the word elder comes, and elderly. All right, and as elderly persons, we're supposed to be elders of society. They're supposed to have knowledge more than the average person about life and about all societal matters. And that's one of the things we want to promote under the UN Charter, that older persons have a role to play, and older persons have a right to enjoy life. They have a right to the freedom of speech. They have a right to be fed and to be treated equally to all other persons. And that we want to to bring forward. And in fact, I like to be very philosophical about this whole thing, because when you look at men like Plato, Aristotle, and all these big philosophers, I'm a student of Plato, and Plato tells you that you should not be able to rule any or play any leadership role until you are 72.
Is that
Yes,
so?
that's what it is, because it's only then you would have gathered enough knowledge, experience, and you have lived through what you want to impart onto others. So that's telling you how important that thing is. So under the UN Charter, we recognize the value of older persons, and we are promoting this. And there's another article called the Madrid Plan of Action for Older Persons, which is another international document that was prepared and agreed to by over 140 countries, that we should look at the principles of this protocol to be able to promote the well-being and the welfare of older persons. And as well, another thing we were supposed to do, we did to address what affects older persons in society. That's one of the things the consensus is about. And we also are supposed to be looking at how to raise funds from respective sources from anywhere to be able to help contribute to the welfare and upliftment of older persons.
Do you think, and I'll probably put that question to Lorana, over the years that you've been involved with the Dominica Council on Aging as the executive officer, do you think that persons have given due credit to the council and the work that it is set up to do or designed to do as the umbrella body which looks out or looks after the interest of older persons?
Yeah. As time progressed, persons
Come forward so we hear you.
as time progressed, persons realized, that the council had this important role that they were playing, because we then started to form groups all over the island and to be able to help them to understand their role in society and what they could do to improve, even at the age, to improve on certain things that were happening. During that time we also had something called the Age Demands Action, where we would advocate for the older persons by going to cabinet and to see the Prime Minister especially to present the problems that affect, the problems that we were aware of that affected the older persons. We also, now and then we had some workshops on the rights of older persons, and we would go to visit different homes. We'll come back to the public to let them know certain things that we observed and to see how we could strengthen. And I suppose because of all this we have really gained the respect of the public and the government including. In fact, the government is a partner with the Council on Aging. And in anything that we do, we involve the government. In fact, the government, especially PM, helps to sponsor quite a few of the things that we're doing. So I think we have gained the respect of persons, and I would just hope that we continue on that, at that rate that we are going, and then as we grow in knowledge and experience, we know that there are things that we can do for the elderly that they will be happy about. Even with the recent hurricane, we could go and make different surveys and see what happens, and to be able to refer whatever problems to the respective authorities. So I think we have gained some respect, a lot of respect. And we have also been able to be affiliates with other institutions like Heritage International, the Nepal in Senegal, and now we're also with the International Federation on Aging. This latter one we have not really done so much with, but we are still presently members of that. And I think they all regard us, even the other councils in the various islands, especially we had a Caribbean regional workshop in Dominica. in 2016. 2016 and in November, December, and I think the various persons who came to Dominica accepted that the Dominica Council of Aging was really the one that was really advocating on behalf of older persons, whether on island or overseas.
So as she speaks about government and the role that government plays and the support that government gives to the Dominica Council on Aging, we know about the Yes We Care program. Is that something that is endorsed and welcomed by your organization?
Oh yes.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Go ahead, Shirley.
Oh yes, I clearly remember when our Prime Minister in 2009 at Fortune Hotel, it was at our AGM, and then he said when he went over and we sort of told him about the problems that elderly, when he was aware of the problems that elderly people were going through, and he said, let it not be said that we don't care. And that was when he instituted the Yes We Care program. I clearly see him on the stage now saying, let it not be said that we don't care. Yes, we care. And that was when it all started. So I know for sure he's at the back of us, no matter what, whenever we need any help or so, he is there for us, the government is there for us. And I also want, a time like before, most elderly people thought, well, I'm old, so they sit back waiting for death, like they've done what they had to do, and you know. But with the Council on Aging and all these different groups in all these different villages, we've made them aware that life doesn't stop because you've reached 60 or because you're old. You can start life again. Like a lot of times, during their years, they looked after their children, they looked after their homes, after their families, and never really focused on themselves. But now the husbands and the children have gone. Well, I shouldn't say the husbands. Their husbands are still there. You know, that is time to spend on themselves. Go to places during their lifetime they never knew. Certain places in the island, go on island tours. They can celebrate their birthday parties, go to the, different, and be happy. Celebrate life to the fullest, like it's our theme in the Vibrant Senior Citizens. So they have begun living again. I know this story of a lady from Layu, and every time you ask her to come to a meeting or something, she would say, oh, her foot is hurting her, her knee is this, and she doesn't want to come. Anyway, one of those days they managed to get her out. And when she was at the party, she didn't want to leave the party. She didn't remember me or anything, and that is what the Council on Aging and those groups are doing for the elderly people now.
Ophelia, I'm going to come to you in a while. Start thinking about some of the challenges facing elderly persons or older persons in Dominica and what the council is doing to assist those persons. So while you're thinking about that, I want to talk to you, Nigel, a bit about, I look at each of you here in the studios, and I see you as persons who could still be sitting at a desk making a contribution. I see you as persons who could still be somewhere managing a business and using your experience and your knowledge. But then we hear about the age of retirement and when you get to a certain age that you have to go home and settle down, and some of you probably still feel that you could be making a contribution. What is the council's view on the age of retirement? Is it something that you think should be extended? What is your view on that? And I give that to you, Mr. Lawrence.
Yeah, you just before I answer your question, you missed the other part of the you spoke about you should be at the desk, you should be, but the other one you could be sitting down somewhere, having some nice cocktails and enjoy life.
well, I make that comment based on quite a few persons I know who are actually at the age of retirement and would prefer to still be working, still be at work. So,
what's your question again?
what is the council's view on the age of retirement?
Yeah, well, there are two things.
Yes.
There is the age of retirement, and there is the issue of when you graduate to be a senior,
right,
to be an older person.
Okay.
So at age 60, you are an older person.
Mm-hmm.
That does not mean that you are obsolete. All right. It doesn't mean that that's the end of your life. In fact, as I told you about Plato earlier on, and then a lot of people peak at 60, 65.
But the system.
Yeah, but the issue of older persons retirement at 65, this is something that it goes far beyond just age. It goes to I think we discussed that a few years ago within ourselves at the board level, and we wanted to expound on it, but we haven't had a chance to do that. That might be one of our next projects. But it has to do with the state of your economy. It has to do with what you could, if I have to put it in simple terms, it has to do with the aging curve of society. Because if you look at it, we mature a little bit earlier now, but we live a little bit longer too. All right?
We live plenty longer.
Yeah, so that is it. So if you think of retirement age, as far as I'm concerned, I personally think there should not be anything like retirement age. There should be something that you work until you think you cannot produce anymore. Because not being 65 does not mean that you cannot produce. And we are paying a lot of our persons. In fact, if you take a look at the Far East, into the areas like Japan and China, the older, when you meet somebody, an elderly person, an older person in society, you bow. And the deeper you bow, it means the more respect you have for the person, and that comes with age. So for 65, we think 65 is a questionable age. But we've been thinking that can our society support that? Because if you were to make people work beyond 65, you have to think of who you replace. The people, the cohort that is coming up, do they have a place to fit in? Let's take, for example, if you are at an institution working and you are employing 60 persons, and let's say 30 of them would approach 60 or 65, it would mean that you would have had 40 other persons to make way for them. But if these persons do not go, there is a problem.
So there's the pros and the cons.
Right. So that is where it depends on the economy. It depends on what is the structure of your society, and it depends on the whole philosophy of your country. But it is something that we at the council agent will be taking forward, and I think
what will you be taking forward?
A more open debate on the issue of aging and retirement age, because it has because for example, I'm not saying that strictly looking at the Dominica Social Security DSS. All right, DSS would have had a challenge if it were if we were to say you
go up to 70.
You go up to 70 or 75, because the other thing is people are more vulnerable with the NCDs, with the non-communicable diseases. People are more vulnerable as they grow towards that. Now it has to do, if you want to do that, you may have to start to legislate that you stop drinking Coke. You cut down on the sugar content.
Yes.
You understand?
My husband would agree with you.
You reduce the salt content of your food and all these things. We go back to more natural. So it is a holistic thing we have to look at. And it's not something that's very, very simple to address.
I want to get any of the other ladies if they want to share their views on that as well. Shirley, you have a view on that?
Yes.
Shirley, you look like you were working still, Shirley.
Oh yes. As a matter of fact, I think retirement doesn't mean end of work. It means end of the work that you're accustomed to do. But it's the beginning of another job. It doesn't mean that because you ended this particular job, it opens doors for you to take part in other activities, which I've done and which I'm really enjoying. I never thought I would have been able after retirement to get into certain organizations and so, cancer, diabetes, and I'm learning so much that I never knew before.
And you're keeping busy.
And I'm keeping busy. Oh yes.
Ophelia, I would love to. Oh, sorry, Shirley.
Yes. And I also want to say, well, as he mentioned about the communicable diseases, the Ministry of Health just had a program 4 days intensive program that trained leader trainers, 32 of us, about 30 of us, and we're able to go out and to the community, 15 persons at a time, and help people to self-manage those chronic diseases. Chronic diseases self-management program. It's a 6-session thing, and particularly the elderly people who are more vulnerable to these chronic diseases. And so it teaches them how to, like you go to a doctor, you spend about 15 minutes there, half an hour, he tells you to do this, and you yourself say, yes, I'll do it. But then, in actual fact, you don't. So this program teaches you how to self-manage it, how to put an action to it. And so it would be good if a lot of our people would come into that, and we are also in the Council on Aging, carrying out this program that we hope will help these elderly people.
All right. Ophelia, if anybody else on this, or we're gonna we can move on to some of the issues facing.
Yes, if you wish, because we do. But that is an issue for some older persons. The fact that they have nothing to do because people have sent them home. And so we find ourselves in other jams, so to speak, because one of our challenges is finances. We sometimes write projects, and sometimes we're successful, sometimes we're not. When we go soliciting, nowadays it's very difficult. And people just feel maybe we should stay at our home instead of wanting to have a Bite Guamun for seniors, or if we want to have a sports day, because we have sports meets with the seniors, we do cricket games and what have you. And so there's that problem when people don't realize that we are people too, so to speak, and that we're supposed to be allowed to express ourselves. So we need that kind of support. Sometimes we get it. Thank God we have some partners. I want to thank all those who know themselves. I can say everything now. But there are still other problems. For example, I sent to tell a few of my friends that we would have been here and that the Council on Aging would be talking and what have you. And one of them sent to tell me, are they going to deal with the noise that happens in communities? Because there's one particular community, a particular place where the music is always loud, very loud.
An area we know very well.
Yes, yes. and they don't know that they will live to the end of the year. You know, so we have that, the noise aspect that we have to look at, maybe join with partners, because the rules, the laws are there, but something is not happening for the older persons. And then people are driving their vehicles in town with the music loud. I have been at the Old Mill for a meeting and I could not hear the people who were in the meeting with me because somebody was passing outside, slowed down, and we just cannot hear. I mean, where's the respect there? Where is the regard for somebody else? And not just older persons, younger persons. I run away when I'm not a younger person anymore, but I run away when I am around things like that because I need to preserve my hearing. And there is a certain place they call Sheofide that's peaceful, so I run there. But what about the people who cannot run? You know, there's a problem with that. We also have, after Hurricane Maria, we had problems with food, clothing, and shelter. There are, I hope there are not too many still, but some of our older persons stayed in shelters, and some were still there a month ago.
Oh my.
We have to make a link up with the persons in local government so we can understand how far that has been abated. I have to say that FACS, which is one of the organizations that takes in senior citizens and people who need that kind of care, did offer assistance. But I forgot to follow up on that to find out in how far their offer assisted the situation. So that is still a problem. Our seniors get abused, and that bothers us. We cannot be police officers all about the place, nor can the police officers be all about the place.
What type of abuse are you talking about?
All kinds. There's financial abuse where people take their money, some get a subvention from government. Now you're getting me hot. And
burn, my sister, burn.
and people who go and pick up the money for them, don't use it on them. Some people, thank God it's not everybody, they get sexually abused because some people feel they're tighter or they would allay the problems of STDs and what have you. And by people, a lot of times by people they know. In fact, with the sexual aspect, there are people who are accused in that kind of way. If you make noise about the avocados they're taking on your tree, a person could turn and say, hush your mouth there before I come and rape you. That has happened. You know, and people pull the hair of older persons when they're supposed to be taking care of them. They feed them late, or they take them to another church, or try to force them to make an X for whatever political party they want. That is abuse. Some younger people, when older people are walking on the sidewalks, hit them with their elbows. That is abuse.
They make fun of them.
They make, yes, you know, call them old lady, call them sukuya and all of that there. They forget. From the time you are a baby, they ask about you. How old is he? All of us getting there. And karma is a funny kind of thing that has a way of coming around. So, you know, that abuse is really painful. I get rather annoyed when I think about it and almost helpless. Because of that abuse, Dominica set up this conference that we had in 2016. Lorana made reference to it. And we had people from ECLAC who came to be on board with us. We had AMDOR, that's the French organization that groups senior citizens. And we had persons from the various Caribbean islands who came in with their participants. And it was a big, big conference. And we realized that there are those problems, there are those challenges everywhere. And that doesn't make it less painful. And we have to recognize that if we don't take care of those things, we are weakening our own country, and we are our own community, and we are helping, or rather making it more difficult for our juniors, because we are the ones who set the foundation. We are on the foundation that our parents set, and if we don't take care of that, it's going to affect the society in a terrible kind of way. You want to say something, Nigel? Because I have a whole list.
and I want us to talk about you know, some of those concerns.
Because I just want to highlight some of these areas that the council
is addressing.
Intervene. Because most times we've had cases I was personally dealing with a case with our former president, where there was an 82-year-old lady who was being abused by a relative, a young boy. He was about 18, 19.
Oh my.
All right, and all he did, and it is because, and that's where the issue of housing for older persons come in, and how vulnerable they are even after Maria. And what happened was this lady couldn't get a place to live, so her relative, must be a nephew, allowed her to live in this house. And the nephew's son used to come with her friends when they're high and abuse her.
No.
And we've had to intervene and try to, I mean, you have to be, and I remember we used to go to, there's a village I used to go to do talks with older persons with the help of a nurse, and they would bring me there so that the people would open to us and tell me what is happening, so I could be able to find ways to help them. So this is what Ophelia mentioned there is something that is chronic. It is underneath, but it's very, very chronic. And this is one of the things we have to learn to address. And it is serious. It is very, very serious, and it's very rampant. I would just like to add. And there's much more, but we don't want to cloud the
session. Reality.
Yes, indeed. We have to talk about it, because in making others aware of what is going on, then it's going to open others' eyes. So maybe in a situation where there's an elderly lady living in a home, probably nobody would think that possibly somebody could be abusing that person. But now with what you're revealing to us and what you're sharing, that they could probably become a little bit more aware and pay a little bit more attention and probably discover things that are actually going on that they didn't realize were going on. Yeah. So I think we can talk about it. You wanted to add something?
Yes, I just wanted to add also that there's some the people themselves, some of the older persons are afraid to even to speak about it, because most times it's their own relatives, and the thing is, some of the relatives are the ones giving the support, the financial support to these people,
or living with them,
and so it is kind of difficult to get these people to open up. So I mean, you have to be a good counselor to go in and to be able to unravel those things, you know. But most times it's the family members, because they feel they are supporting them.
You better just shut up, you know.
Yes.
Just take what you get and shut up, or else we'll put you outside. You know. Yes. Ophelia, share some more with us.
Yes. Well, okay. Did I say finances?
Yes, you did.
Yes, because sometimes we pick up by the lack of it.
Yes.
And then we ourselves have to build our capacity. We have, sometimes we feel disillusioned, we feel sad, we feel depressed, helpless, and then sometimes we have people who are in charge of certain aspects of our work, who I think need to, I'm saying me, that's my personal thing, need to be more clear on how we are doing things, what our objectives are, and how the rest of us are communicated to with regard to those very important aspects, and so that we too can contribute our 5 cents and our 2 cents. We want to say that 18-year-olds, from the time you're 18, you can join the council. Okay. I remember when Shirley had come to join Vibrant Senior Citizens, they asked her if she couldn't wait, as if she wasn't old enough. But she was 18, so she could join us. So in the same way, people can join and we can join the Council on Aging either as a group or as an individual. So, people should make up their mind to join. I think we need more personnel. We have 2 field officers, and in Dominica that is not yet enough. Because and we've had some very good field officers, and they go out, they really keep in touch and help us to understand what's happening in the field. If we had a few more, I think we'll be able to do that work better. We need to close the generation gap some more. People mustn't feel bad about wanting to work with senior citizens, because you're going to get there, remember. And we are nice people, so come out and help us, and don't, so for our own self, we need to help us, and we need other people to come and help us.
But what about it? We wanted to add something.
Yes, as she said about the
young
persons.
The mic.
As she said about the young persons, the Council on Aging has just started a youth arm. And that I think is very important, because most times you hear young people have negative things to say about the older ones, and the older ones cannot stand about them. But we forget that we were young ones. We used our mini skirts, we used the hot pants, we used, the thimble heels.
The hot pants, the one like the
Yes. That's different names.
I know some people who got married in mini skirts. Yes, I have pictures of them in my album, and they came to my wedding with it. And these days I don't see anybody getting married in mini skirts. So sometimes we don't need to criticize them. I mean, once your private parts are not exposed,
I think
youth is on our side. We mustn't forget about it. And I love young people. Oh yes. I said, when you rub on them, you get younger. I love of them, and we have a group that started, Natasha, she started it off, Bridging the Gap, where you have the younger person's teenagers and the elder ones, and they come together and you adopt. I adopted 2 of these teenagers, and we're having fun. I take them out places, and we talk about their little boyfriends and how they have to be careful what they do, and we have interesting so just to keep the line of communication going, and not thinking because I'm old I just have to stay away from youth and so. And I think that the council bringing in this youth arm is a very good thing.
Okay. I want to touch a bit on those who live alone. The elders in society who live alone. Who cares for them? Who takes care of them? Who looks out for them? What role do you play?
Well, some, they're generous more than me, but some have good family linking.
Okay.
Even if they don't stay with them, but they come, they bring food and bathe them sometimes. There's also there are also programs like the Yes We Care that goes around. I mean, some places it's a little more limited, but in some other places they get a lot of care. But that is a very serious problem too. The fact that those people are alone, because some of them are lonely in their aloneness, and some can be lonely even in a group. But I think it's nicer to be lonely in a group. At least you'll see somebody and say, leave me alone. But if you don't see anybody, and that is sometimes too large a number. The single ones, the ones by themselves.
Can someone die of loneliness?
Yes, you can. Yes,
broken heart.
Yes, I mean, man was never made to be alone. Man was made to be part of society, and if you are alone, you can die of loneliness. Loneliness can kill you. And in some and that's why the council has, as Ophelia said, you can either be a member of the council as an individual or you can be as a group. And the idea of a group, having a community group, is that you need to have these people together so that there are activities that they can undertake as a team, as a group. For example, in some groups, they operate a soup kitchen. And saying that we have to thank Rich for reaching out to people and giving everybody food, because being lonely means you have to find a way to eat. And even there are many other citizens in Roseau and other parts of Dominica that do offer help to seniors. There is an organization, Care of the Elderly in Portsmouth. There's also a hotel in Portsmouth, I don't know if they're still around, that used to do that, and they used to carry food to people in different communities. That is something. And also the respective groups, we have about 27 groups, 29 groups.
That's not bad.
In other parts, and they try to get together once in a week or more often than that. For example, the one in St. Joseph, they have a soup place and feed them. They play games, they have something going in, they get a meal. You have other groups that do the same thing in Woodford Hill and in other places, all around Dominica, in the Caribbean Reserve, and these things. So that is to fight loneliness. And you won't believe that that's where, and I don't have to talk about the vibrant citizens, because they're too vibrant.
Well, Shirley here just blowing me away. I know Frida, yes. And wanting to know this lovely lady here, but Shirley is just stealing the show.
So these groups, and what they do is that they try to fight loneliness. Now the persons who live alone, they have a challenge. And sometimes a lot of these persons have illnesses. Right? They may not have cancer, but they may have hypertension, they may be diabetic, they may have other things, and then they end up staying in a home, in their homes by themselves. And that is where the Yes We Care program comes in and plays a vital part, although it could be better, but it is a very good way forward. And there are other persons, when we visit them sometimes, even caring them, even though you are caring them, but not, and that's where Ophelia was coming, not knowing the proper technique, how to turn persons around, how to make them turn on the side of the bed to avoid bed sores and this type of things. These are some of the things we have that kill a lot of our people, and that's one of the things that we have to start to work harder at. And the council on Aging has had a series of workshops to train trainers, to train caretakers, caregivers, to train other persons, and this is one of the areas we have to continue working, and we are asking for resources, especially now after Hurricane Maria. After Hurricane Maria, the whole saying is that a lot of people are dying more since the hurricane. And it is true, it's the tremors that people have gone through, what they've gone through. And then when you think of even you as an individual who's much younger, can think back of what happened to you during Maria. And just think of an older person who's 80, 75, 90, who just stays there and think, all what I had is gone. I was used to reaching around the bureau, the wagonette over there, and pick that up and take it and use it. I cannot do that. This is killing. I spent 45 years of my life traveling around the world, collecting artifacts, collecting things. And Maria came and took all of it. I couldn't find one. So I think of myself, I had things that reminded me of Zimbabwe, the prison where Nelson Mandela was, the youngest guy who was in prison with him, his autograph on something he gave me. You have things that you pick from all places in the world. Valparaiso is a place in Chile. You take a lift to go up there and come down, something you read, and you reach there, you took a piece of the artifact, and you came back, and Maria took it. We are still young, relatively, but think of the older persons who are missing the things that their boyfriends gave them, that their first lover gave them, that their first grandmother gave them, and this type of things. These are lonely things. And it is, so when you say these people are living alone, this is a very, very serious thing. I would like to talk a little bit about the centenarians, but let somebody else go ahead.
Okay. And feel free, feel free. What does the future look like? Can I say that? Because of the things we see on television. So, on television, you'll see that the older persons or the elderly folks have their buttons that they press. Right. And it gets to 911 or it gets to whatever, I've fallen and I can't get up, and they, what does the future look like for older persons in Dominica and the Dominica Council on Aging?
Well, our group, the Vibrant Senior Citizens, is approaching an insurance company to assist us in having a special kind of insurance that will facilitate our care, especially care abroad. We haven't discussed all of the details, life a little easier. And of course, the more people we have in that program, the smaller the premium will be. So we have the beginnings of that, and the Council on Aging has already endorsed that we can go ahead with that. In fact, we have a meeting this week, surely I'll tell you about it. Okay, so there is that, I think, that will go. I think also the linking with our partners, those who can help us, I think we will strengthen that, because many people have come to our aid. I want to say thank you to Terry and Boston for Dominica and all the other persons, don't vex with me, and all the other persons who have come to our aid from Matney, Guadeloupe, organized groups as well as individuals. So I think we need to strengthen that. Also on Island, in Ireland, we belong to the Dominica, what's the name of that thing that links all of the NGOs? Dom NGO?
No, it is non-state actors.
Non-state actors, that's how they call them now? Okay. Okay. Well, so we have a group like that. I think we need to strengthen the links between those people. We are going to start talking, not start now, we're going to continue talking more about our seniors, about their problems, about what Council on Aging would like to do. Because there could be people who are just there who are interested in making a contribution. And when we talk, they will know. I hope no plenty of people don't call me, but I think they will. And I can tell you names of persons who are joining our organization, persons who can talk to us about the legal aspects of things, persons who can, yes sir, I'm looking at you but I'm not calling your name tonight, and other persons, the spiritual, we have a lot of people. I remember we had sessions in how to pray, and that was nice. I mean, and others, those of you that knock in prayer, behave on yourself. So, I believe we will have more of an opportunity to show what we can do. We will play cricket and we will win the young ones.
I think so too.
And we will continue, and there's nothing wrong in having fun, because we have worked and we continue to work, so we can stop and have the fun. So we're looking at that. We're also looking at, we mustn't tell you everything, but we're looking
But we
at...
want to know. That's how the younger persons can contribute and support.
Yes, so we're looking at more exchanges with Ireland.
And the organizations too out there
Yes.
can support.
Yes, yes.
Right,
So,
Ophelia?
yes, and we're looking also, like Flo and the other.
But we have to give Flo a plug, because about the alert button you spoke about, I think one of our members of our board, Mr. Bully, was assigned to work with Flo to try to see how they could set up a first alert button for seniors.
Okay.
And that from Mr. Bully's report, that was going ahead very well. So we are hoping that we can continue with that. So we have to give Flo that.
Okay. But we hope we can get that working for you then. Shirley, you wanted to add something as well in terms of we're talking future.
Well, while we're talking about loneliness, I think one of the avenues that we could try working on is living alone, sleeping alone. Like maybe during the day we have the Yes We Care program where people come in to help and clean and feed. But then at nights there are people who sleep alone. And we've had cases of people dying in their sleep in nighttime. And it's only when somebody comes next day they meet them. Whereas maybe if somebody was there, they could have said, well, I feel this way, and maybe get an ambulance. So I think this is one of the things that we can look at. And I cannot live here without emphasizing the importance of exercise for the elderly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that is my forte.
Okay.
I love exercise, and so we do exercise in all different forms. Sometimes you just do the kind of things that can be boring, but you dance, you baisse bar, you come up, and and that is good. That is because a lot of people suffer with arthritis and those, and I think exercise plays a major role in the life of the elderly. So that's the fact I wanted to report.
Mr. Lawrence, remember Mapampo, and from Mapampo, the centenarian became something, somebody, or a topic that we spoke about and we paid quite a bit of attention to. Alex Bruno, I have to give you some kudos here, because I remember you were one of the persons to bring Mapampo to the fore and to start focusing on the centenarians here in Dominica. But I'm hearing that we still have quite a bit of centenarians, and Alex, I hope probably at some point you can continue doing some more work. She was here,
Who's that?
The lady from La Plaine, I think it was.
Matopi.
It was Matopi.
Matopi.
She was on the project. There was a lady I had on the program, and she danced, and she danced. She stand up in the corner there, she danced on it. I was taken away.
There are a couple others like that,
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
my.
a couple others
Most
like
of them
that.
I wonder if there are some who are still,
No,
that we can bring here and talk to. I would love that.
Mapping or something and said she would have paid her bill. No, that was
another one, I think. Masisi is the one I had here. Masisi was the one who was dancing here for me. Oh, she was something else. And she stayed here until 10 o'clock. She stayed here until 10, but her entire family came, and they came on a bus and they bring my sissy in the studios for me. That was a wonderful program. I would love to have a couple more centenarians in here.
Yeah.
So full of life.
Yeah, but that is true, and that is the type of things we would like to do more of. And talking about Mapampo's elevation to a world-class name and a world-class lady was good for us in Dominica, and as well, it brought me into something that and that's one of the things we would like to do, but that is the beginning of it. This booklet that highlights 150 centenarians.
May I see?
In Dominica. This is we are going to update it, and we have more than 150, but it starts back from 1863. Okay, and it tells us about the centenarians we've had in Dominica up to 2015.
Really?
Yeah, and so and from 2015 to now, we must have had somewhere around 20 something, and that has passed. So we have a lot of centenarians, and that is a very good piece of literature that we are going to take it and work on it. Yeah. And the thing is, if you look at in the United States, you can get a lot of stories of the slaves as it was told by them, and that's what we want that book to be like. We want to talk about the older persons, the centenarians who have gone before us, and write just as they wrote, just as they spoke. Do not try to polish the English. If they say something, say it as it is, and that's one of the things we want to do. And that book is a little eye-opener to tell us of the potential we have. And one of the best stories in that book, it's about a man who left La Plaine, went to Paramaribo, in Panama, sorry, to look for gold, Paramaribo. And then when he came back with the gold, somebody came to tell him that they need to give him the gold to take it to the authorities for them to test if it is pure gold. And he never saw his gold he came back with. Alright? And that man lived
in Dominica, that was done to him?
It is documented.
Yes, but where is, I mean, that's the first time Ophelia is laughing at me.
So these are some of the things we want to highlight. Like, there are some people in this book that are there, they have since passed. I mean, we met some of them. And one of the things the council does is that annually, we make a trip, the council makes a trip to all the centenarians.
Can I come the next time?
Yes. In fact, and we have to compliment one of our benefactors, and that is Easter Trading. And Easter Trading gives us a hamper every year for as many times as we want for centenarians. When we go and visit them, we present them with a hamper. And some of them, there's a gentleman who died last year, Mr. Watt, from Granby. And I remember he was deaf, but then when we came to him, although we brought some things to him, he wanted to make sure he tell his wife, make sure we take a drink. All right, and he was deaf, he was a lively guy, but then he told us that we want his wife that we must have a drink with him.
Yes.
And that was very, very kind of him. And this book has so many
So my question about this book is, where has this book been? That's the first time seeing.
This book was launched about 2016. Yes, 20. But what we need to do is that I've been given the task to make some little changes in some updates.
Additions.
Yeah, additions. And in fact,
don't remove any.
No. Yeah, because some of the things that are there, I mean, they are from the church, from the Catholic Church, and we have to complement the records of the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church has a lot of these records about these people, and that shows the role the Catholic Church played in the past 200 years in Dominica. So this is very, very, very good.
Was this available for sale?
Not yet for sale. We are hoping that when we are ready,
coming soon.
When we are ready, we are going to hope that we might use influential persons like you to give us sponsorship.
Yes.
To our proper.
I'll give you the airtime to go and talk about it.
But
so you can get a lot of sales.
Yes. And I would also like to say, in talking about where does the council go from here? I mean, what does the future look? The council, the Dominica Council on Aging has developed a policy on aging, and that has been, and we've presented it to government, and government have accepted Dominica's our policy on aging. And as you said, it must be about 15 years old now, but we need to update it and upgrade it and to put more things into it. But we are very, very much conscious of the importance of older persons, the role they have to play, and especially we cherish our centenarians.
Yes.
Okay, in fact, there is a lady, Mama Tin, from Grand Fond, and she's still vibrant. We'll probably try to see if we can arrange
The next centenarian trip, please, somebody remember to invite me.
Okay,
I would love to just come along and just...
and it's not too far from now because we normally do it around Christmas time.
Okay, alright.
And also another event where I thought, well, I think we have too much to talk about, but I would talk about, and that would have to be with what we have when we have a sharing a Christmas moment. If you want to say movement and dégagement and movementation, you know,
movementation. Did he just make a word?
Yes, movementation. That's what they call it.
Yes.
And the senior people give you most. And you could hear, I can never forget, and even the men and the women. And you see, there are guys who are just good at that. I remember one day we took a song. The lizard run on she foot. And disappear. And if you see how many words they put into that.
Everybody keeps searching
if you
everywhere.
What is it? Where the lizard? Teacher Mildred. So when you get people, and then when we have these things, this is something we need to capture live, and we have not the opportunity to put it on video.
So there you go. So this is where you engage there's a lot of young people involved in video production. She knows people, involved in video production and that kind of thing. So that is where you get them to come in and sponsor some of their time, sponsor some of their equipment, come and videotape some of this. I mean, very soon Flow TV is going to be on, and we would love to be able to show that to the world. And let people see what our older persons can still do.
Because when we have our sharing of Christmas moment, you'll be surprised to hear each group comes with 3 or 4 outings, and they come out and then they come with skits. She comes with a pum pum shot. That's my favorite lady.
Wait. What hands?
So we do a lot of these things, and it comes back to, it ties in with what we were saying earlier on. We want to take away the loneliness. And some of these older persons look forward to the day they will take a trip.
Yes.
And we try to change the venue each time. I don't know, this is the social director for...
Who is the social director? Ophelia?
I don't know where we're going to hold sharing a Christmas moment.
No, we haven't decided.
Okay, but we change the location every year. It's been in the park once or twice. I mean at the Windsor Park. It's been
Hasn't it been at the President's grounds?
Yes, it was a tea party, but that one day, if we're going to have that one, we want to have a mashup.
We might as well bring triple care.
and of late, Ophelia has brought in something called Bitengwamun.
Okay.
All right, which is another very novel thing, where we bring the older persons to one location. And the last one we had, I remember it was at Anchorage, and they mash up.
Do they tell stories? Do they do that kind of thing about days gone by and that kind of thing?
So they recite poems, they sing. They have
I think we really need to get involved a little more. Some of us younger people.
You never see them with the model.
Fashion shows.
I could see me going live on Facebook. Just recently, actually, I saw a video of you circulating in a beautiful blue gown. Where was that?
Can't remember.
Oh, Parc à Changer.
No.
Beautiful. You look very beautiful in a blue gown. Very regal. That's correct. I'm not sure.
Where was I?
Maybe Terry knows. I think it's maybe either Terry who posted.
I know. Yes, that was in fact Boston for Dominica. Terry's group in Boston.
And how long ago?
Not long, last year.
Yes.
Yes, it was after the hurricane. In fact, we were raising funds for Dominica.
Well, you look hot.
Oh, yes.
What?
Yes, and I did several shows, after Maria. All of them for free.
All of them for free.
Yeah, that was my contribution.
Yes, he did, of course. You very much loved out there, you know.
Yes, yes.
Very much still loved out there. So,
oh yes, thank God for that. And the Dominicans came, and their favorite song was I Dominic.
Yes. Give us a little.
I Dominic.
I love it. You like it? I love it. I love it. Oh my God, the people I love it. I'm Terry. I dominate Terry.
Yeah. You know, she told me a while ago stop texting, but I have to be texting because I'm looking at information that people are sending.
Of course.
The president has told us congratulations, we're doing a good job. That's Mrs. Shillingford. And I had a while ago the names of some of the other presidents that we had, you know, because I think that kind of contributed to people paying attention to our work. Lorana, you can help me? Yes. The sister was the one before the last, but Lorana has all the others.
Okay, we've gone quite a bit over time.
Yes.
You're so young that you don't even realize it's 20 past 10. Wow. But what we're going to do quickly, if we can just take a couple of calls quickly before we wrap up, in case anybody wants to make a contribution. We're here still, don't worry. If you want to make a contribution to those young people who are in studios with us today, I'm not going to ask them their individual ages, but they're all above 60, yeah. So you know what I'm talking about, right?
And some more than that.
We're one headphone short, but you need headphones to be able to hear the callers. Yeah. So we're just going to take a couple of calls quickly. Those of you who can't put on a headphone, let's do that. Oh, there you go. Hello, good evening. Good evening.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. I was just trying to wonder if it was the person we gave it to. Is it Maho? Maho. I do remember that. Okay. Awesome. Full of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ahoy. Herself with her money. Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Very good.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Okay, my dear. All right.
Hi there. Okay. I'm fine. Now I know who's talking.
All right. All right. Thank you, my dear. Okay. All right.
Right, Shelly?
Let's keep it a little short because we don't have much time. Hello, good evening. Oh, my calls up. Hello? Okay, so we'll take this one right here. Hello, good evening. Good evening. John Baptist. Okay.
I remember that.
Yes. Okay, bye-bye. He opened the floor dancing, so you have a dancer there. 4493095, 4493096, 4493097. Hello, good evening. Thank you. Uh-oh. But I don't want you saying that, but you know. Oh. Mm-hmm. Oh, good stuff.
Praise God. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, thank you. It's interesting, people are still up listening. We thank you so much for listening to the program. We're going to have to try to wrap things up because at least we must close up things at least by 10:30. And it's 25 minutes past the hour of 10 o'clock, but the phones are still lighting up. Hello, good evening. Let's keep it quick and short. Yes. Thank you, my dear.
Hello. Hi.
I recognize that.
Hello.
I want. Okay. If you don't know who it is, we'll tell you. Uh-oh. Please call us back. That is, I'll tell you who it is after. She said, please don't call her name. So I don't know if she really wants a name called, but that sounded like Mrs. Lewis. Was it? Yes,
I'll be there.
Very well. Is that who it was? All right. Okay.
Okay.
You didn't recognize the voice of Ophelia?
No, but love you good, and you know why.
You need to visit her, okay, Mr. Lawrence?
I'll be there
Apparently you
tomorrow.
made a promise. All right, we have to wrap things up now.
Yes.
So we're gonna do so with some final comments from everybody, and what we'll do in those final comments, if there was anything of importance that you may have omitted, please use this opportunity to share it in your final comments. Are we starting with you, Lorana John Baptist?
Okay. On our way forward, we mustn't forget this is a big thing for us, a big challenge also for us at the council. It is the word and the actions of abuse. I think we need, in the future, we'll continue to have workshops on the rights of the older persons, to have workshops on their financial standing, to help, be able to help them to make their wills, because even professional persons in high places, they abuse the elderly, especially, let us say, in forms of getting land surveyed and being able to pay for the land. They can't really perhaps take over the land. So there are quite a bit of things that the council, I'm almost sure, will do in the future. I am not there, but I'm just hoping that these are some of the things that will continue to happen for the benefit of the older persons. The other thing I was going to talk about is the continuation of Month of the Elderly. Month of the Elderly was instituted in 2004. Matthew Walters. Matthew Walters was the minister at the time when we instituted it, and it was adopted by the government of Dominica, and since then we have been holding September as the Month of the Elderly. And the government as partners with the council, has continued the month of the elderly. And this is one of the months that we are always so grateful for, that we can go out and we can get the persons to have fun and enjoy themselves, and to highlight these older persons. It's true, we have just got another one to add to it, the Bitagwamun, which is more fun again. But I'm hoping that everything will work out well for the older persons in the future, and that we haven't said much about our board and our president, Mrs. Chillingford, but I know that they have the council at heart, and everything will work well for the future of the council.
All right, Lorana John Baptist, who is a former executive officer of the Dominica Council on Aging. Ophelia?
Yes, well, if I can start with our president, I just wanted to let people know who our presidents were in the past, so that they understand that it's, you know, it's not any Babel thing we're in. So our current president is Mrs. Gloria Shillingford. She used to be a minister of government, and she's also a preacher and a pastor, and somebody who is into community. And before her was Zet Matuse, who is as solid in terms of community and all of that. Then Evander Joseph before that. And then we had Bernie Didier, Mr. Rupert Sorrento, Mr. Francis Peter, Dr. Crispin Sorrento, and Dr. Ricketts was the first president. So you see,
the late Dr. Ricketts?
Yes.
The late Dr. Ricketts.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, it's Mr. Rupert Kazim. I'm sorry.
Rupert Kazim.
Yeah.
Whom we're actually trying to get here tonight, or do something with tonight.
No.
Which one? No, not Mr. Rupert Kazim.
No.
Mr. Rupert Kazim used to be at Voice of the Islands.
Right.
Yes, I do remember that, Mr. Rupert Kazimi.
Yeah, but we were looking at Mr.
Keskif
Kazimi, who is going to be 100 years in October,
Right.
30th October.
So we're going to try to make this happen for next month.
Yes.
Okay, Ophelia?
Nigel is saying yes. So
We
maybe
have to
something
figure out, because we were trying to figure out how we could make it happen actually, to have him here with us tonight, or to make something happen around that.
Yes,
But
yes.
Ophelia, our work has not ended.
Right.
We have to continue that project.
Yes,
And
yes.
we're going to rope in Mr. Lawrence to help us make it happen, okay?
Great, yes.
Good stuff.
Yes.
Anything else, Ophelia, from you?
No,
Nothing wrap
I'm
up?
good. I just want us to continue with the month of the elderly, which we are observing now. And I want to thank the youth arm for all of the injections that they're putting into the program. And I want to thank all the persons who are supporting us and going ahead with us. And I better finish like that.
And Ophelia, you have been here before, but I also want to thank you for all the wonderful work that you've done for Dominica, representing Dominica, here in Dominica, outside of Dominica, as an ambassador, because that's what you've been, a musical ambassador for Dominica. And we love you, and we appreciate you for all you've done for us.
Thank you.
You blushing? Yes. Shirley? Thank you.
Well, all I want to do is invite persons to join the Council on Aging. Forget about the word aging. It's a very exciting organization. And I know with Pradina on board,
Shirley just
Bobby
wrote me in
girl.
there. What is
Yeah,
going on,
just come.
Ophelia?
I know you have a very busy schedule.
I do.
But we'll welcome you, and we know it will make a difference to the council. And young persons, come help us. We elderly, I mean, our bodies have been overworked over the years, and sometimes we slip and fall, so we need your strong arms to help us get up. So forget the word aging. We need you on board. From 18, come and help us.
Yes.
And elderly persons, come. Let's dance. Let's be happy. Let's enjoy our next few years.
I had a guest here who spoke very much about Wule.
If you do that, you'll add 10 years more to your life.
Yes.
So
Well,
come
Shirley,
along.
I cannot commit to, being part of the organization in a very formal, active way. What I will say is, whatever role that I can play from where I sit and where I stand, I will try my best to help. But I certainly want to be part of the centenarian visits.
Okay.
That I certainly, would want to be a part of. I don't think it's going to take anything away from me. A couple of hours. That Mr. Lawrence said he'll drive me. So please, there's 4 of you here. Somebody must remember. But Diana said she wanted to come. If anybody doesn't remember, I know Ophelia here.
You know I remember.
Mr. Lawrence, your final words as well.
Yeah,
From 25.
I would like to
Top 25.
Yeah, I would like to first of all thank you for Dinah.
Yes. Thank Ophelia too.
Yeah, well, that goes. She's part of us.
Yes,
but
yes.
then we have to thank you for giving us this valuable airtime once more.
And Q95.
Yes, and the staff and the management of Q95 would like to do that. We'd also like to announce and let everybody know that the patron for the Dominica Council on Aging is His Excellency Charles Savary. He's our patron, and he is always with us whenever we call on him. He gives us a lot of guidance. In fact, he's always the one. He delivered our month of the
Yes.
So we have to recognize that. And I would like to recognize somebody who has worked behind the scenes, but who can be here with us, and that is, and she's given a lot of her time, but because of her health she can't be here, and that is Mrs. Bernice St. Joseph.
Ah, yes, I know that.
Who was our field officer.
Yes.
We wish her a speedy recovery, and then we want to recognize that. And also we want to tell everybody we are 25 years old.
Yes.
All right? And
On the 1st of December, we will be. Yes.
Yeah, we'll be celebrating this on the 1st of December. So we want everybody to understand that. Come and be part of our activities for our 25th anniversary, and come and join. Make sure you join the organization on a very significant date, the date of our anniversary. So we're asking people to come out in large numbers to do that. And we'd like to also tell people that we are having our annual general meeting on the 26th of this month. So this is a very significant milestone
Month
for us.
yes.
And so we would like to thank everybody, all our benefactors, all the persons who've been behind the scene, all the benefactors who've given us, what they've given us in secret and openly.
Yes.
And we would like to ask them to continue. And we would like also to recognize that there are many homes in Dominica that take care of older persons. And these homes play a significant role in trying to do what most of us cannot do when our elders get to an age where we do not have all the facilities to take care of them. And we have a lot of these places that do that, and we'd like to recognize them and hope at another time we'll be able to give them their due accolades. Thank you. Good night.
And I want to thank Ian Jackson for allowing us to use this one called Treat Them Right. I presume one he most likely wrote because he writes a lot for his daughter. And it's actually sung by Jeanne, his daughter. And this song actually speaks to the elderly or older folks. So I leave here, I want to know what is the correct thing to say. So you say older persons, you say seniors or elderly. Okay, all right.
All of them is one pot.
All right, okay.
According to Mr. Cashman, I say all of them in one hole.
But for then I just would like to remind people, if they want to contact the council, we are at 2 Rose Street, and our telephone is 448-3050, and it's working.
448-3050 and it's working.
Yes.
Awesome. Lorana, I have it right?
Yes.
Lorana,
Yes.
Ophelia, Shirley, and Nigel, because all you is young people, so I address you only like young people first name basis. Thank you so much. It was really my pleasure to have you all here on the program tonight, and it was a joyful program. I mean, we spoke about Maria earlier on and the experiences, which was a bit sad at some instances, but overall I think it was a joyful program, and it just says that older persons can be fun, can be a joy to be around, and can be very loving people, very informed people, very caring people, and very entertaining too.
Yes.
Because I had quite a wonderful time with you. Thank you so much. Enjoy what's left of the month of the elderly. And I really want to encourage others to provide, when you come to them, to try their best to support in whatever way that we can. Because you are the ones who laid the foundation for what we are enjoying and what we are building on right now. So thank you so much. And to all the older persons, all the elder folks, all the senior citizens who are probably still up listening to the program. We appreciate you, we love you, and we wish you well. And we hope that many of you turn to 100, get to 100, and we can come visit you and spend some time with you. I look forward to reading this when it's complete, okay? When the updated one is done.
Yes. We want you to keep
Yes.
your bubbly self.
Oh, thank you. I try my
Always
best,
visit
you know, I
the
try my
program.
best. Somebody visited the office a couple of weeks ago and he said, Fernanda, we were just having a conversation about you the other day and said, how you're always so positive. I try my
Lovely.
best to be positive. I'm human. There are days that I may be, you know, upset and I may not be in a good mood or whatever the case is, but I try my best. Ophelia, yes, you do. But you know, I try my best. You know, we are all humans, and sometimes we have good days, we have bad days. But overall, let's all strive to be good, right? And
Yes.
positive.
Yes.
All right. That is a wrap on the program for tonight. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in and for listening. And those of you who enjoyed the company that I enjoyed tonight with these wonderful young people. Until next week, Monday, when we're back here again for another program. Do have a good night, everyone. And thank you to Q95 and thank you to everyone who supports this program in one way or the other. Until next time, good night.
25 years young.